Hi guys, Terry here with Truth in Numbers. Good to be with you today and reaching out on the eve of inauguration. Want to just take a hot minute and let's just take a second to relax, to breathe, to think about some things that might be helpful for us going forward. I wanted to take a minute to do kind of a self-check and think about, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are we, each of us, when it comes to anxiety, fear, exhaustion, stress? Where is that? Is it nominal? Is it midland? Is it acute? Is it past 10 up into the 15 and 20s? I know what that's like. I imagine I'll get there again someday here, through all of this. But where are each of us, on the scale of 1 to 10? And then what can we do right now? Because we're just now starting to get into another leg of the marathon. So what can we do self-care wise to bring us down maybe a notch or two on that scale, so that we can have kind of a baseline of less stress, anxiety, fear, etc., and move forward at a pace that will allow us to last longer in the race, in this resistance. And I think of last time I talked about diluting the news or diluting the stress of what we're in. And then I think of, the self-care. What can we look at in terms of our self-care regimen to apply to where we are today, as we move into the next administration? And I think of the 5 senses. We've got sight and smell. We have hearing, taste, and touch. So I think, as I was going through this, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I need to write down, 5 self-care things that I can do for each of these senses, so that I have them handy. I don't have to really, when I'm in needing to fill up my tank, I don't have to sit there and think about self-care, what I can do to apply. It's already thought of ahead of time for me. It's something I've done before ahead of time. And then, I want to make sure that I have some things that I can do at the office, some things that I can do at home, some things I can do in the airport or traveling. So that something is always available and handy there. That's a better way of getting dopamine, a better way of calming my system, a better way of filling my soul than, picking something at the spur of the moment. So I think that those are reasonable things to kind of maybe plan ahead or think about ahead of time. So just a thought. And then I was going to mention, it was not too long ago that I came home and I was talking to a friend. I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm just really kind of exhausted, and I just want to grab a bunch of snuggly blankets and cozy up with some warm socks and, kind of hunker down for a cold winter's night and just really, try to self-care myself back into better shape. And I'm like, but I don't understand, because I had good outcomes, and from the situation in midweek. And this friend of mine who knows me well, she's like, well, Terry, there was this going on and this dynamic and this expenditure, in terms of, internally, and all of this other stuff going on, and you didn't know this, you didn't know that, and it did turn out well, everything, so all good, but there was a levels of expenditure, in order for that good outcome to occur. And so I guess I just want to say that when I came home and started thinking about, snuggling up for a cozy winter night, that I had to start thinking, okay, well, what else can I layer on here? Because I am empty in a good way, but still empty. And, for example, all the snuggly, cozy stuff, the nice green tea, polyphenols, good stuff there, some good blueberries or some nice antioxidants. And then I thought of, oh, I've got a couple of candles. I don't have very many, but I have a couple of candles that are very nicely scented, and I love each of the 3 different scents that I have. And they have a lid on top of them, so I keep them covered mostly. I don't really light them. I lift off the top, and we'll smell the fragrance from the top, or I'll just leave the candle open for a while and then, benefit from this lovely smell, and then cap the candle again and save it for another day. So that was just another sense that I could bring in to this self-care evening. And so just an example of layering. I think as we kind of ratchet up on the scale of 1 to 10, we may need to start layering in these different aspects of self-care at any given moment or time period to just refresh us and keep us going. So layering self-care options, and then I want to talk about how self-care is an act of resistance. And I believe it to be an act of significant resistance, because the autocratic movements are there to kind of attack our humanity and to so that we're more controllable. And to the extent that we can foster well-being, we're going to be less compliant. We're going to be harder to manipulate, harder to control, and harder to wear out. So if we can maintain this these levels of well-being in each of us and share in the well-being with one another, part of the defiant part of me wants to say, well, they might want to break us, but we're not going there. But also, it's just the crap and dysfunction that they bring our way is just not going to have the same effect that they would want. So food for thought. The last thing I wanted to mention in this video was that I remember exactly where I was a little over a week ago, and I felt the headwinds. I got it like a little, sense of the intensity of the wind, and it was maybe 20 seconds. It wasn't very long at all, but I remember thinking, oh my gosh, this does take courage. It takes courage to stand in it. It takes courage to not avoid it. It takes courage to not succumb to it or bend to it. And it was interesting. And I think that courage begets courage. And I think that as we move through this together, that we can encourage one another to stand in courage for whatever it is that we face. We don't know what all that's going to look like, but I just wanted to mention that we can take turns, facing the full brunt of the headwinds. We can share in it. We can rest while others are more front facing. And this is something that we can do. This is something we can do. So, y'all, that's the bulk of my message for today. I want to say, let's be kind to ourselves. Let's be kind to each other, even though we may not feel like it. Let's take good care of ourselves and invest in self-care, because self-care really does give us a good return on investment. So let's mind how we go. Good to be with you guys tonight, and quote unquote see you, and I look forward to next time. So that's all for now. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.